Hi, my name is Adam Rangel, and this is my poetry presentation. I chose Harlem by Langston Hughes. Langston Hughes was born in the year 1902 and died in 1967. He was a key figure in the Harlem Renaissance, a period of significant black culture growth. Born in Missouri, he moved around before settling in Harlem, New York, where he became deeply involved in the vibrant art scene. Hughes was a prolific writer, known for his poetry, plays, essays, novels, and short stories. His work often highlighted the lives of working class black Americans in poverty, blending formal language with everyday speech and blending the sounds of jazz and blues. He aimed to create a unique and authentic black American poetic voice. Harlem. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore in the run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode? Harlem, as known as A Dream Deferred, is a short, impactful poem composed of 11 lines, primarily in the form of rhetorical questions. When a dream is deferred, that means it's being held back. Hughes does a great job of speaking reality about the human feeling of a dream being held back. The poem is still relevant even in today's world. The poem does not apply to a strict traditional rhyme scheme, but instead a series of rhymes that create a sense of conversational urgency and build tension. For example, sun and run, meet and sweet, and load and explode creates a musical vibe showing the blues and jazz influences Hughes often put into his work. The imagery of this poem uses strong, unsettling images to show what could happen to a dream that's put off. Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? This image evokes drying and a loss of energy, suggesting a dream that simply withers away. Or fester like a sore and then run. When a sore festers, it can only fester if it was neglected or not treated for. If the dream is delayed and you stop pursuing the dream, it'll bother you like a sore. Does it stink like rotten meat? This image speaks directly to the sense of smell, highlighting how it decays over time, which is an intense unpleasantness. Or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet. This basically means it doesn't feel good, but put on your smile anyway. It's false sweetness and dangerous to intake all that sugar. Maybe it just sags like a heavy load. This evokes a sense of weariness, depression, and the burden that unfulfilled desires can place on an individual. Do you just carry it until you die? The more you carry it with you, the more it brings you down. For symbolism, the dream deferred in the poem is a big symbol. While it can mean any personal goal, for Hughes and during the Harlem Renaissance, it especially stood for the shared hopes of black Americans. These were dreams of equality, freedom, opportunities, and respected life, which were constantly held back in a segregated society. The neighborhood of Harlem, mentioned in the title, represents his larger fight. His word choices is what really made the poem. Words like fester, stink, crust, and sags all have negative meanings, showing growing sadness and danger. The very last word, explode, is emphasized to make it stand out, highlighting the most extreme and violent possibility. For the theme, the main message of the poem is about the harmful effects of racial unfairness and blocking people's chances. It shows how holding back dreams and hopes can lead to different outcomes, from people giving up to angry outbursts. Now, the poet's style, writing in Harlem, is unique because it's so simple and direct. He uses everyday language and common comparisons so everyone can understand the deep questions he's asking. The poem is built as a series of questions, ending with a shocking final one, which really builds suspense and makes his warning feel like a prophecy. This mix of sounding like a normal conversation while being deeply unsettling is typical of how Hughes blended common speech with serious art. The political message Harlem delivers is a strong political message. It's a serious warning to any society that keeps blocking the hopes of groups who are already at a disadvantage. The poem suggests that if unfair systems continue to hold back dreams, the anger that builds up will surely lead to big, possibly violent problems. It criticizes the idea of the American dream by showing how the dream is commonly denied to people in poverty. Basically, it's a hidden plea for change before things get out of hand. This poem should be included in the course's regular calendar. This poem, the theme is a great theme. He wrote it back in the 1950s and it's still relevant today. A lot of people get their dreams pushed back. A lot of people, certain things happen to where they just dwell on their dreams and don't get to accomplish it. So sometimes it can be a weight. A lot of times it is a weight on people because they get depressed that they can't do what they want to do. So I would say that this theme is a life-changing theme. The poem is very short, but if you understand what it's talking about, it could maybe get you on track to do what you need to do. Second, the poem is short, which makes it perfect for close reading. Students can analyze it on their own without feeling overwhelmed. The strong images are easy to understand but also have deeper meanings, giving students plenty to discuss. The poem's questions encourage students to think deeply and share their own ideas. And I would say finally, a good reason, which was probably my favorite reason, is Langston Hughes has a high school named after him in Fairborn, Georgia, which only makes it right that a local professor puts one of his poems in the regular calendar. Most high school students that attended high school in Georgia should know about Langston Hughes. They have one of the best football teams in Georgia, and that's the reason I chose this poem, Harlem, because I was familiar with the author's name.